Yo, what's up, everyone? It's me, your boy Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk in the house. Happy Monday to you guys, man. I got another banging edition tonight of Clutch Sports Talk Live. I'm gonna talk about Steph Curry, man. He really has risen to the occasion. He's legit. I mean, I was wrong about him going into the season, and even the Warriors. I'm gonna talk about that. I want to talk about the LA Clippers possibly tanking in order to avoid the Lakers in the playoffs. Yeah, not a good look for the Clippers, especially them being the second team in LA. And also Kyrie Irving added again with some outlandish comments. I don't know what to think about this guy, man, anymore. Talented dude, but I don't know, he just rubs me the wrong way. And finally, I want to talk about the playing games between the Pacers, Hornets. Who else we got? The Wizards. Wizards playing. Who's the Wizards playing? I forgot who they're playing. But anyway, I'm going to be talking about that as well as tonight. It starts tomorrow night. So, hey, without further ado, man, we're going to get straight into the show. Hey, this is Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers. Never settle till the work is done. Let's get it, guys. Welcome in. Happy Monday to you guys, man. Appreciate you guys for joining another edition of Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers, man. Like I always say on Monday shows, it sucks. It's the first day of the week. We're all trying to get back in the grind. I appreciate everyone that's watching me right now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and as well as Instagram. Boda Sports, welcome to the party, man. Hope you guys are doing all right. So, I'm doing a lot. I'm controlling a lot of stuff right here, man. I'm multitasking. That's what I do best. But again, I got a great show in store for you guys tonight, man. But before I get into the show, actually, I want to shout out my boy Charles Jackson, the realest cowboy, aka the realest cowboy. Man, he just popped in the city today. Driving through, and I had to go meet him. We've never met face to face. We've had interactions throughout this whole ordeal here on Instagram, on social media, whatnot. And I had the opportunity and the pleasure to meet him for the very first time in person. So it was cool, man. It was really cool to kind of, you get to talk to people, you meet people on Instagram or on social media. You never think you're going to meet them in real life, and I had the opportunity to do so. So shout out to him. Check his page out, The Realest Cowboy. And also just some other, clerical stuff here. We got the social media platforms scrolling down below. Make sure you guys check that out, man. But like I said today, I got a good show talking about Steph Curry, talking about the Clippers tanking, Kyrie Irving again, off the wall comments, and of course the NBA playing games. So nice tight show tonight. We'll get it all squared away and get you guys loaded and locked and loaded for the rest of the evening. So hey, without further ado, man, let's just get straight into it. So I am a pretty reasonable and rational person. And going into the season, I thought the Warriors would be pretty much left for dead. KD left, Klay Thompson was out. Didn't know how Steph Curry, was going to play, coming off of the injury he had with his wrist. And he, I gotta give credit where credit's due. Is he the MVP of the league? In my opinion, I think he is. I'm not sure if he's going to get it just because I've been listening to people say, especially on a lot of these other platforms, that they can't see themselves giving an MVP to a team that's the 8-seeded team, which is whatever. I mean, it is what it is. If the guy is the most valuable player, then give it to him. It doesn't matter what their record is, because honestly, he's pretty valuable. If the Warriors did not have him, they probably wouldn't be an 8-seeded team. So Steph Curry, he just won the scoring title again. Not that many guys have won the scoring title twice. Especially at his age, pushing over 30, which is remarkable. I think only 4 of the guys have done it. I know Michael Jordan's done it, Kareem's done it. I forgot the other guys that have done it in the past, but man, Steph Curry to me, look, I hated the Warriors. I hated that dynasty. I really was just totally just against that dynasty altogether. But when KD left and this whole, Klay Thompson went down, Draymond Green is a shell of what he was. Steph Curry really stepped up, and I'm starting to like him again. I didn't like them before because I didn't like the dynasty. I liked them pre-dynasty, but I'm starting to get an appreciation for him even more so now. What he's done, what he's been able to do. Now he still has a tall order up against him. They have to play the Lakers, which I'll talk about here later on in the show. In the play-in game starting for them on Wednesday, I believe. And again, I think the game is in LA, so I'll talk about that. But definitely, man, I was wrong. I think the Warriors are still going to be a viable team. You know what? Honestly, I think they can probably get another championship out of that team if they can add another third player on that team, kind of what they did when they got KD. They're still good enough. They got some young guys. They got Kelly Oubre, James Wiseman, who's out for the rest of the year. They have some talent. And I mean, it all goes off of what Klay is going to do. If Klay comes back to being what he once was, they can actually probably still win another time. I don't think they're completely done yet, especially given what I've seen from Steph Curry. His ability just to be one of the best scorers I've ever seen in the game. I've been around quite some time. I would say 37 years on this earth, and I've been watching the NBA at least since the early 90s. I haven't seen someone like him just change the game. The way he can pull up from anywhere on the court, even his dribble penetration. We kind of fall in love with the 3-point shooting. Excuse me, but for sure, he can score from anywhere on the court. So I was wrong, in regards to just basically just ruling the Warriors out, and even Steph Curry, because I didn't think he was going to be able to do what he's doing. I thought maybe he was a little fragile. I don't know, carrying a whole team like that. And the fact that he got them to where they're at in this playing situation, I'm like, dude, like, I got to give it out to him. I got to give it up to him. Now, I will say this about the Warrior fan base. Hold on one second. I got to drink some water. I'm dry. Sorry about that. But the Warriors fan base was getting on my nerves after some time. Like, I knew a lot of Warriors fans back in the day who were like the Baron Davis and Steven Jackson. Those fans I'm cool with. But these like bandwagon ones, they kind of rub me the wrong way. And that's part of the reason why I kind of had to fall off on the whole Golden State Warriors team, because I actually used to like the Warriors. I like that team. I like the Baron Davis teams. I like the team that beat Dallas that 1 year in the playoffs. So, but to see Steph Curry, man, I was totally flat out wrong, man. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think he's the MVP in the NBA? Make sure you guys drop your comments, whether you're watching me on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, or even Twitter, man. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think, because I'm here to admit, dude, I am one of those guys. I will admit when I'm wrong. I thought the Warriors were left for dead. They're not. I think they can still get a championship out of this unit that they have, or at least be one of the top teams in the West. Because if you really think about it, right, a lot of people are still thinking the Lakers are going to make the finals, right, as a playing team. What does that say for the rest of the West? Like the Phoenix Suns, the Utah Jazzes. They don't really have a superstar like a Steph Curry. I mean, Donovan Mitchell's nice, but I don't think he's at that level yet. The Phoenix Suns, okay, they got Chris Paul, but he's older. He's not a superstar per se. Then who you got? The Nuggets. They're a 3 seed, but like, let's be real. Like, the Warriors are still a viable team, and I can definitely see them pulling off some championships. We got some comments already. Carving It Up podcast. Bryson Carver, man, he's a Warriors fan. He's one of the only Warriors fans that I know that I like. He says ability to shoot off the dribble is incredible. That's a stat that his shooting percentage is higher when he dribbles 10 times than when he does it less than 10. Steph is without a doubt the MVP. I agree. I mean, and I like Jokic. I like those guys. I think those guys are having good seasons. Joel Embiid having great seasons. But to me, Barry Grant from the All Even podcast, he disagrees. He's not the MVP. This happened many times before. He had a good season, but you're crazy if you think this is a championship team. I wouldn't. I mean, not right now, but I think if they get Clay and maybe they add another piece, why not? I mean, we saw what can happen when they have that third piece. Now, like I said, they can still compete in the West for sure, because the Lakers, which I'm going to talk about here shortly, they have a window and it's closing, but I can see maybe Steph trying to get one more for the Bay before maybe he leaves, but I doubt he leaves. I think he's too loyal. He's that kind of dude. But again, this segment really was just to kind of give him praises. I think Steph Curry has done a tremendous job this year, given the fact, that's a young team that he's playing with. That's a young team, and, he hasn't had the full complement of a Klay Thompson. Jokic, I get it. He's having a great season. He has Jamal Murray, who really hasn't been playing that well. So Jokic, I can see them giving it to him as well, and I wouldn't be mad about that. And I wouldn't even be mad if they gave it to Curry. Those are the two front runners for me, but if I had a vote, I would have to go with my man Steph Curry, because I'm not a big dude, and Steph Curry, I mean, he's taller than me, but I would like to think when I'm on the court, I'm kind of like Steph Curry, but I'm really not. I can't shoot that well. I'm more of like a Patrick Beverly. I'm just going to get in your head a little bit, but that's the way I play. Speaking of getting in your head, the Los Angeles Clippers, man. So there is some chatter going around that the Clippers possibly tanked the last 2 games of this season. They literally lost to the 2 worst teams in the NBA, in Houston Rockets and Oklahoma City Thunder. So that way they didn't have to get the 3rd seed, I believe, in the playoffs. Why? Because then they would avoid possibly meeting the Los Angeles Lakers in the first round. And one thing the Clippers do not want to do is get bounced in the first round, which they still might, because I believe they're going to be playing the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks, a team that they beat barely in last year's playoffs, but they're going to get another crack at them. So here's the thing with the Clippers. I don't trust them. I don't trust them, and I would not. I actually believe that they probably might have tanked. I don't know if they kind of got together in a concerted fashion and was like, "Hey, man, let's tank." I don't think that all even. He says, "Guess who my dummy of the week is?" It ain't gonna be me because I ain't no dummy. But it's all love. But the Clippers, I they're just an enigma because they have a good team. You would think on paper, right? Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, just those two names alone. But Paul George isn't as consistent, and we've all know Kawhi Leonard's leadership ability is or has here lack of a leadership ability. He has none. He's Mr. Load Management. Oh, my bad. He said the Clippers, not you. I appreciate that. But the Clippers, man, here's the thing. They play second fiddle in LA. I don't care. And if you're a Clippers fan, I'm sorry, but you got to hear this. You are not the premier team in LA. You're probably the fifth, maybe fourth. Maybe on a good day, maybe the third team talked about in LA. Maybe. And that's only because you got Kawhi Leonard, who's a pretty good basketball player, right? But other than that, it just kills me, man. It just really kills me that they would even do something like that. Where you look at the Lakers, they just want to play, man. LeBron and them, they're like, bro, we just want to play. We don't care who we got to play. We just want to get in the tournament and we're going to do damage. And which gives me confidence about the Lakers, which I'll talk about again later on in the show. But the Clippers, man, them avoiding, which I don't understand why. I think they match up well with the Lakers overall. But we all know the Clippers are one of the worst clutch teams in the NBA with like 2 minutes left. I don't know the stat off the top of my head, but I've read that they're not really good down the stretches in games. They're really one of the worst teams. And you would think, how is that when you have a Kawhi Leonard and a Paul George, but they just don't have that clutch gene? I don't know about it. But if it's true that they did that, man, it just didn't. It just doesn't make any sense. And carving it up, Bryson Carr, what Clipper fans? I didn't know. Yeah, they exist. They're out there. I know a few of them in my family. But I seen people picking the Clippers to win the title this year. I just don't see it. They're going to have to be. I guess I'm born and raised in LA, but for the playoffs, in order for the Clippers to win the title, I'm going to have to be from Missouri. And for those you don't know, Missouri is a show me state. So the Clippers are going to have to show me that they have what it takes to be a title championship team. I just don't see it. But like again, they play in the Staples Center. And this, I'm throwing you guys way back. For those of you who've been following me, or if you don't, if you go on my YouTube channel, I did a podcast about a year ago about the Clippers, them buying out the Great Western Forum where the Lakers used to play, and they're going to build a stadium over there, which is just blasphemy. But in that podcast, I detailed that I see why they wanted to move out of the Staples Center. Why? Because for those who don't know, the company that owns Staples Center actually has a stake in the Lakers. Oh, right. And who also plays at Staples Center? The Lakers. You ever notice why the seats are purple in the Staples Center? Yeah, not because it goes well with the patrons there. It's because that's the Lakers stadium. Okay, we all know that. The banners there, when Doc Rivers was there, he was trying to put the covering over the Laker banners. It didn't work. Okay. In order to get respect, you got to win championships. Winning Pacific title divisions means nothing at this point because honestly, the Lakers got 17 championships. The Clippers have none. They have a long ways to go if they even want to be considered the best team. And I thought that was funny when I did that podcast that Steve Ballmer wanted. He bought the land where the Great Western Forum is at to build a stadium over there. To me, it's just ridiculous. And it's going to piss a lot of people off, especially in Laker country, especially because the Clippers have not won a title. So, but anyway, the Clippers, if that's the move, man, that's weak as hell. And you guys got to do better than that, Clippers. Really. What do you say to your fan base that you're just tanking because you're avoiding to play the Lakers or any other team that can probably give you a run? But I know they want to get out of that first round for sure. And they can't afford to go out the way they did again in the first round like they did last year, the way they lost to the Nuggets in the second round after blowing pretty much that series lead and losing to them in Game 7. And Kawhi Leonard and Paul George just not even showing up in that bubble. So I don't know, man. We're going to keep it rolling. Kyrie Irving back in the news again. This dude, honestly, man, he could be arguably one of the best players in the league. He has all the skill sets, talented. Will I say smart? I guess so. I'll say smart. I mean, I think he struggles a little bit with with a lot of stuff, especially non-basketball related stuff. So after the game last night, the Nets played. I forgot who the Nets played last night, but he went up to the podium to do the their required press, whatever you want to call it. And he said, you know what? Before the press conference started, he was like, basically like, look, man, I'm not really in the mood to answer any questions about basketball. And I quote, he says, basketball is just not the most important thing to me right now. Okay. So let that sink in for a minute. So a basketball player is stating that basketball is not important to him at the moment. Yeah. And I'm not saying you can't have other interests. I mean, is he a basketball player? Yes. Does it define him? Yes and no. I get it. But, bro, you're getting paid millions of dollars. You need to be reliable. And honestly, it feels like he plays when he wants to. I don't even know how many games he's played this year. As someone who's watching, if you know that stat, let me know. But this guy, again, man, I feel like he is one of the most ungrateful athletes I have ever seen in my lifetime. I mean, literally, this is the guy who was playing with LeBron and wanted out of playing with LeBron. Like, I get it. Is it always, rainbows and sunshines playing with LeBron? No, I get that. But LeBron did help you get a ring, and I get it. He played clutch in that Game 7 against the Warriors, and he helped win that game. I get that. But you're playing with LeBron. Okay, so then he asks for a trade. He goes to Boston. Then he works his way out of there too. After saying, oh, he's going to be committed to the Boston Celtics. Then he wants out of there. Forces a trade to go out to Brooklyn, right? And now he's sitting out. A lot of the times, we don't even know why. Why is he not playing now? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I don't follow this guy all the time. So it makes me feel that he's so ungrateful that a guy in his position, and I get it. There's a lot going on in the world, but this is when the great athletes or anyone in general, you have to be able to put things in a compartment. I can't say the word, so I'm not going to say it. But you got to be able to block things off and segment type, and that's not even a word. But you know what I mean. Carmento, I can't say the damn word, but you guys know what I'm saying. And he can't do it. He's worried about what's going on probably in Israel and I get it, the stuff that's happening to African Americans in this country. There's a lot of stuff going on in this world. But, bro, I just think that you have an obligation. You're being paid. Because here's the thing. Yeah, I have problems with what's going on with society. But I can't call my boss and be like, hey, you know what, man, I'm not going to show up today because there's just a lot of problems in the world, and I just can't get to the work, because it's weighing heavy on my heart. And I'm not even get paid millions of dollars, okay? But this guy does that, and this is why, for me, I can't really get with athletes who are like want to be athletes and activists at the same time. Like, I feel like you got to pick, and that's my opinion, but that's where I'm at with that, right? You got to pick, man, because here you are, in your $500 Balenciaga sweatshirt. I don't even know how much Balenciaga, and your Gucci shades, and it's like, man, there's a lot going on in the world, and I can't play basketball right now. Well, bro, you wearing those shades and the Balenciagas and the Yeezys, how do you get all that stuff? You play basketball, bro. You're and I think that's why people say, just shut up and dribble. Because at this point, that's what I want to tell Kyrie Irving. Shut up and dribble, bro. This is the guy that thinks the world is flat, and if you believe so, I'm sorry, it's not. I don't have scientific proof, but I just know that the world is not flat. I don't know how, I just know that, okay? But anyway, my boy Barry Grant says, I'm not going to lie to you, Ryan, I will cheer like my team won a title when he retires from the NBA. Yeah, I've had Kyrie fatigue since 2013. Absolutely, man. I think we're all done with him. So I'm not going to spend too much more time on this guy, but because he's just annoying at this point. I think he's smart, but I think he's just reading some of these press clippings and he just doesn't know how to apply this stuff, man. I think there's a time and place for everything, but your team is getting ready to make a run for the NBA championship. And as a trio between him, KD, and James Harden, they've only played like 8 or 9 games together. And if your focus isn't on basketball, where is it at, bro? Because I'll tell you what, I served overseas. I was in combat situations in Iraq, and I'd be damned if I'm in a trench hole with someone, and I look to the left and right of me, and I ask the guys next to me, man, you guys ready to get down on this stuff? And the guy comes up and turns to me, you know what, Ryan? I don't really feel like fighting this war, man, because, there's great depression in the world. And I get it. That's war and that's basketball. But my point is that if I'm getting ready to do something that's going to take a team effort, I got to know that you're all in. And this guy's not all in, man. He's not a team player whatsoever. Probably one of the worst teammates probably ever. And people like him, I guess, but I honestly just wouldn't have the patience for him. I'd be like, bro, you got to go. You got to go. So I'm out on him. All right. Last segment of the evening, man. The NBA playing tournament starts tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. And we got some very interesting games. I'm going to start in the East first. I'm going to pull up this graphic. So tomorrow we got the Pacers and the Charlotte Hornets. They're going to square off, and Boston and the Washington Wizards. So I'm going to leave that screen up there for you guys to see it. I'm actually intrigued because, first of all, outside of the Lakers, I really love watching the Charlotte Hornets play. I really like watching that team. They're young. They're fun. I love LaMelo Ball. I like Mikal Bridges. That dude is a dunker. I mean, he just dunks. I mean, that dude can throw it down. What's up, Nathan from the NNR Hour Show? He's just dunking, right? I love watching that team, right? Even Scary Terry. Gordon Hayward doesn't seem like he fits, but hey, it is what it is. Now they're playing the Pacers, who are kind of limping into this playing tournament. Not sure if Michael Brogdon is what his status is. He's the leading scorer on that team. I just feel like, what's up, Raider Southland, LA? Excuse me. I think the Pacers they're like, and this is a good analogy. They're like that top college football team that doesn't make one of the BCS, or not BCS, but one of those big bowl games, and they get to the Meineke Bahamas Bowl. They don't really want to be there, and I think that's where the Pacers are at. Like they play decently down the stretch, but I don't think I just don't think they have it. And I would not be surprised if the 10th seeded team, the Charlotte Hornets, pull off that upset tomorrow and win that game. I mean, I think they're hungry. LaMelo Ball coming back in the situation. And shout out to LaMelo Ball, man. He, fractures his wrist, comes back on short-term leave, comes back and is playing pretty good, man. Like him and Anthony Edwards probably should be rookie of the year. And I'll talk about that probably next week on my next show. But I like the Charlotte Hornets in that game. If you're betting, I would probably take. I don't know the line on that, but I would probably take the Charlotte Hornets on that as the underdog, because I think they might be the underdog on that. But don't quote me on that. The other game, which is interesting, the Boston Celtics and the Washington Wizards. Interesting game because here's the thing: the Celtics, to me, and I know I'm hearing a lot of people talking about Brad Stevens probably getting fired, but you know what? To his credit, he doesn't have that great of a roster. Now, I love Jaylen Brown, I love Jason Tatum, but they're not superstars. They're not next level. And I feel like that they're going into this game tomorrow against Russell Westbrook, who's hot, and Bradley Beal, who's also hot. And I think the Celtics probably lose this game. Kemba Walker is not the same. His knee is not the same. He's undersized. How is he going to match up with Russell Westbrook tomorrow? How is he going to do that? How are they going to do that? Jaylen Brown's not playing. He's out the rest of the year. I don't know. And as far as Brad Stevens is concerned, I don't think it's all his fault. I think Danny Ainge, to me, has not been aggressive enough, especially in free agency or in the trade market. They missed on a lot of guys. They missed on KD a few years ago. They missed on a bunch of other guys. They couldn't keep Kyrie there, which good riddance. They probably don't need him anyway. But they've never really had, since the big three, when they had KG, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen, they haven't had that since then. And although I like Jason Tatum and I like Jaylen Brown, they're solid young players. They're not superstars. And I feel like going into most series, they don't have the best two players. I mean, you look at tomorrow night, we can easily say Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook are better than Jason Tatum. So I like the two underdogs tomorrow. I really do. So if you're a betting man, maybe you want to parlay the Hornets and Wizards together, or maybe just money line each of them. You probably win some money. If you do, just Venmo me. I'll give you guys, or Cash App me. I'll give you guys my information, and we can split that winnings a little bit. All right. So moving on, we're going to go over to the West. These games start Wednesday, I believe. Memphis Grizzlies and the San Antonio Spurs. To me, this is a no-brainer. I like the Grizzlies, man. And shout out to Ja Morant. I'm not a big Zion Williamson fan, right? And a lot of people, especially the media, they're swinging from Zion Williamson's nuts. I mean, at the park on a Sunday afternoon, just swinging, right? I get it. He's a great player, but what has he done for his team, really? Ja Morant, 2 years in a row. He hasn't got his team into the playoffs quite all the way, but at least he's put them in a position to even be in the play-in tournament. I feel like we don't give him enough credit. I'm not going to go for stats and all that other BS because I get it. If you look at Zion Williamson, he's impressive. His stats are impressive. His volume from the floor, his points. But Ja Morant is getting it done where it counts, and that's winning basketball games. The Pelicans, again, and don't get me this thing, Zion Williamson, they have to. No, he got to play a full season. I know he got hurt towards the end, but they weren't even in playoff contention. That team had already been written off already. That's why none of them played the last night against the Lakers. They were done. So I'm not going to say Zion Williamson is not a great player. I think he will be really great, but don't forget about Ja Morant. He's actually carrying that team on his back. He doesn't have anybody else on that team, really, that's carrying. I mean, Zion Williamson can at least defer to some other guys on that squad. He has a Brandon Ingram. He's got Lonzo. He's got other guys on there. So I like the Memphis Grizzlies. I think they lost last year in the play-in tournament, I think to the Trailblazers. I think they get the job done because let's just be real. The Spurs are not the same. Popovich is probably coming towards the end of his career. I'd be surprised if he continues to coach after this season. They just don't have it anymore. And the years are just not counting out. The Spurs are here. You can count them out. And I feel like the Memphis Grizzlies will win tomorrow. Going away, actually. I really do. If Ja Morant goes off, which I think he can, they'll probably end up winning that game and moving on. So and finally tonight, the last game, the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Golden State Warriors. This is probably the most key matchup out of all these ones because Steph Curry is playing out of control. The star power in this game: Steph Curry, AD, LeBron. The Lakers won their last 5 games to finish the season. They still just wasn't enough. They tied with the Blazers, but the Blazers had the tiebreaker. So the Blazers are in. The Lakers are still having to play in to get in the playoffs. I like the Lakers still, man. As much as Curry is going to go off, he's going to get his. I think the Lakers are still one of the top defensive teams in the league. Curry will get his as long as no one else gets theirs. The Lakers should be fine. They're playing home. They're riding good. LeBron feels somewhat pretty good. I don't know. He's not 100%. But my problem with the Lakers is that sometimes, man, they go into these lulls, and they don't play all the way motivated all the time. But this is the whole thing. If this was a series, we can easily say the Lakers win this series, best of 7, right? But because this is a one and done type of deal, I mean, Steph Curry can go off tomorrow night and maybe somebody else. But the Warriors are missing James Wiseman. He's out. Kelly Oubre is out for another 7 to 10 days. I don't think Draymond's playing, so literally it's going to be on the shoulders of Steph Curry. Not sure, honestly, but I still think the Warriors will get in because if they do lose to the Lakers, they can beat the Memphis Grizzlies. So I think they will get in. And let's just say the Lakers do lose. I think the Lakers are still going to get in the playoffs as the 8th seeded overall, just because I just think that they're going to beat the Memphis Grizzlies. Or hell, say the Spurs even win. They can beat those 2 teams easily. So I'm not that worried yet because if the Lakers get in, if they get in at the 8th seed, they're going to play the Jazz, which I feel like Donovan Mitchell has not played any significant time since injuring his ankle. Not sure how he's going to be. And then I think the Lakers match up well with the Phoenix Suns as well, too. So, overall, it's looking pretty good, man. It's looking pretty good. It's looking really, really good for the Lakers still. Like I said, the West is – everyone talks about, the West is so dominant. Like, it's really not. The Lakers can match up with all those teams. They can metamorphose and play the style of basketball they need to play in a 7-game series. It's one thing, one game. I get that. But if you come on, honestly, can we see the Lakers losing to the Jazz 4 times in a 7-game series? Unless LeBron or AD gets hurt? You just can't. So, I mean, as far as the play-in tournament games, the beginning, like I said, I like the Hornets, I like the Wizards, I like the Grizzlies, and I like the Lakers winning on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So we're just going to have to see what happens. But, man, for sure, I'm not a big fan of the play-in. I know a lot of people love it, but, I feel like you had 72 games to prove yourself. And obviously, and I'm being very objective because, honestly, the Lakers probably shouldn't have made it. Well, technically they would have because they're actually the 7th seed. So they made it. And they probably would have been a higher seed if AD and LeBron doesn't go down. But these other teams, it's like, dude, you had 72 games to prove yourself. Why do we need a playing game? But that's just me. That's the old man in me. I don't get all these playing games. It just is what it is. I guess it's another revenue source or revenue stream for the NBA. So I guess they need to do that for marketing and televising rights and stuff like that, which I'm not like totally opposed to it, but I'm like, I'm okay if it didn't happen either. Like, I'd be fine if the playoffs just started and if the Lakers were a 7 seed, they would have played the Phoenix Suns. I'm okay with that because honestly, that's probably what's going to happen anyway. Right. So it is what it is. But hey, that's all I got for tonight, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, man. It's always a pleasure bringing it to you guys, man. But hey, make sure you guys head over to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. I'm trying to build it up. I got 100. Why can't I get over 100? So I need your guys' help. Make sure you guys like and share the content. And as usual, man, that's all I got for you guys. So enjoy the rest of your evening. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys again Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers. Never settle till the work is done. Peace out, guys.